Savannah. It's nice seeing you today. I like your shirt.
Thanks.
How are you doing today?
I'm tired.
You tired?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because of the rain that we're having today?
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep.
I'm sorry. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and start real quick. Before we start, what are your thoughts on misery currently?
I'm pretty fucking miserable.
On a scale to 1 to 5, 5 being the absolute worst, what would you
Worse than that, 6.
say? What about self-harming yourself?
Like urge or like
It's just like,
why?
yeah, sure, urge or like right now,
Is it the same scale?
1 to 5, yep.
I guess 3.5.
Okay. All right. Perfect. What about suicidal behavior? So thoughts, wanting to kill yourself.
3.5.
Okay. And what about quitting therapy?
I mean, I don't know, like 2. Like I want to quit because I'm just sick of it, but I'm not going to.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. All right. So I see you have your diary card. Can I see it? Curtain on fire. Police and fire was called. Requesting safety. Get out of bed due to stress and anxiety. Friday was a really bad day, but then Saturday was also okay. So on here, doesn't seem like you filled everything out. But we'll get back to that. Actually, is there a reason that you didn't fill this out?
I just kind of didn't do anything after Saturday.
Okay. So, really because you went, because of the fire and you were in and out of the hospitals? Because that's about when you stopped filling this out. Okay. Were you in the hospital on Saturday?
I didn't go to the hospital.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you did. All right, so let's talk about this. So on Saturday, you have on here, your anxiety level was at a 10, your shame was at a 7, and then your anger and sadness were at 8. And then also you had an urge to self-harm. It was really high, like all your urges were really high on Friday. And you did self-harm, drank, and 40 minutes. And you didn't, and it says you didn't use any skills. So what happened?
Well, I mean, it's right there. I fucked up, like, super bad. Like, they're gonna take my grandma away, they're gonna put me in jail. I don't know, something bad's gonna happen. Like, that's all I know. They're threatening me with all these things. And, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's my fault that my grandma's gonna be sent to, like, a nursing home that she can't even afford.
Well, those all sound like consequences. And it sounds terrifying. But what happened?
Like, what?
Like what happened? Because on here, you
was-
caught the curtain on fire, but what happened?
Well, I was trying to, like, heat up my needle, and when I wasn't looking, it was like, I have this like mini refrigerator in my room. It sits like right under the window, and I put the candle on top of there, and I was trying to heat up the needle, and I put it down, and I tried to get a water bottle out of the refrigerator, the mini fridge, and when I closed the door, I didn't look, but it like knocked the candle, like, and it like hit the curtain, and I didn't see it, and so I was like playing with my skin, and next thing I know, like, it gets smoky, and my curtain's on fire.
All right, so that seems like a really, I mean, everything in that sounds like it pretty much has had problems, and each leading event caused a lot of problems. And so I think what would be a really great idea for today is to do a behavior chain on it. Does that sound like a good idea?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna help.
Well, you talked about 3 different events in that one thing. One was cutting your skin or playing with your skin. Another one was the curtain caught on fire. And I think that if we do a behavior chain on it, that we can really take down the micro part of each part and see what could have changed, what could have done it so that the curtain didn't go on fire, that you didn't have all these consequences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So does that sound like a really great idea?
I mean, it doesn't sound like a great idea, but
It sounds like it should be done.
I guess if that's what you want to do.
Want to make sure that you're on board. Is there something else that maybe you think is more important?
I mean, I really want to talk about what I'm going to do with my grandma.
Okay.
And the cops were like threatening me. Like, I don't know if they're even like allowed to talk to me that way, because it was not cool.
Okay. So you want to spend about 5 minutes at the end of session to talk about your grandma and the cops and.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that'll be part of the behavior change.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're gonna chain
Uh-huh.
is burning yourself or self-harming yourself, which then one of the consequences you've already mentioned is the current catching effect. Okay. So, and what we're gonna use this board right here. And so we're gonna do this. All right. So, and the event we're gonna say were you burning yourself or were you cutting yourself?
I was burning myself.
Burning yourself. Okay. So, what were you using to burn yourself?
A needle.
A needle.
Yeah, it was my like grandma's like cross stitch needle or something.
So was it like a bigger needle?
No, it was little.
A little needle.
It's like this big.
Okay, like a sewing needle?
Mhm.
Okay. Needle, sewing. Okay. All right. And where were you?
I was in my room.
In your room. Where in your room?
Like by the window, by the mini fridge,
Okay.
which is like at the bottom of my bed, sort of.
So you're on your bed or were you in like a chair?
I'm on the floor.
On the floor. So floor. All right. All right. So at that time, what were your thoughts and feelings at the time when you were getting that needle, or when you were burning yourself? Like, what were your thoughts?
I just felt like stupid and worthless.
Okay. So you're burning yourself with a sewing needle in your room on the floor. Stupid or worthless. At what time was this?
Like 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, so Friday at 9 p.m.
I mean, that's why I was so pissed, because it was Friday night and like no one had called me to go out. I was like sitting home alone in my grandma's basement in my room. Like, who does that? Like, why don't I have a social life?
So you also had thoughts.
Like, no one wants to hang out with me. Like, scared everyone away.
And then, feeling alone and nobody calling, it's okay to feel that way. And it's very normal. sometimes, if it's a Friday and, I know things are happening, but I'm not out, sometimes I can get it. So on here, so burning yourself, you're on the floor. So what were you doing before you burned yourself?
I was on Facebook.
And where were you on Facebook at?
On my laptop,
But where?
sitting on my bed.
In bed, okay. And at what time did you get on Facebook and what time did you stop?
I don't know, sometime after dinner, I went to my room and I was watching like TV on my computer, and then I went to Facebook.
Okay. And how long were you on Facebook?
You can get lost on that thing. Like maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Okay. Thirty, 45 minutes. Okay. And when you were on Facebook, what were thoughts and feelings that were going through your head?
I felt left out. I mean, it's Halloween weekend, and everyone was in costumes and dressed up and going to parties and like trick-or-treating, and like no one invited me. Like my best friend from high school was on there, and I know we had a fight like last week, but she didn't invite me. She was having a party at her house, and then my cousins were having a party and they didn't invite me, even though I saw my mom there on the pictures. And then it's just like everyone went out without me, and like just were like, oh yeah, I totally forget about Savannah. She doesn't need friends. And so I don't know, just everyone was out and about. And then I started commenting like snarky things on their pictures. Like I told my mom she looked fat in her picture, she did. And she was dressed as a cow, which, I mean, she was asking for it.
Okay. Let's do row snarky.
Yeah. They were pretty mean.
Okay. So you're on Facebook for a while. So I know, did you have the candle burning already in your room?
No.
Okay, so between Facebook and burning yourself, what happened?
Well, I ran out of wine,
Okay,
so I went to the kitchen to get more.
okay. And so you're out of wine. And so then what were you thinking at when there was no wine?
That I needed to get more wine,
Okay.
because I wasn't drunk enough to deal with what's going on.
Okay, so you said you were drunk. And so at what point in time did you start drinking?
A lot earlier in the day, like before dinner. I was drunk through dinner.
What time?
2.
2 in the afternoon? Okay, so we're gonna put that up here. So drinking at 2 p.m. Okay, so we'll get back to that. So back to the kitchen, okay? So you go to the refrigerator, you open it up, there's no wine. So you went...
No, there was wine. I ran out of wine in my bedroom, and that's why I went to the kitchen to get more.
Okay, okay. So you went to the kitchen because you're out of wine. Okay. Okay, so...
I went to refill on wine.
Okay. Okay, so you got more wine. So where was the candle in the needle? Were they already in your room?
The needle was already in my room. The candle was already in my room.
Okay.
But I picked up a lighter while I was in the kitchen.
Okay, so you got a lighter. Okay. So why'd you get the lighter?
Because I figured I might need it later.
You might need it later. Okay. So at this point, you had kind of thought of self-harming yourself when you were in the kitchen. Okay. So then you got the lighter, and then you went to your room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just want to make sure this is right. So after dinner, you went to your room. You got on Facebook. You're just sitting on your bed for about 30-45 minutes. You made some comments to different people, some snarky comments, probably because you were upset. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I just felt left out. Like, I don't understand why everyone's treating me that way.
And then you ran out of wine. And then you went to the kitchen to refill your wine. While you were down there, you grabbed a lighter because you thought you might need it later. Okay. So then, at what time do you think you went to the kitchen?
Like 8:30.
8:30. Okay. So for 30 minutes, so between the kitchen and actually burning yourself, there was 30 minutes. So what happened in that 30 minutes?
I went and checked to see if my grandma was asleep.
Okay. So checked on grandma. Okay. I can't spell. Okay. Why'd you check on your grandma? Or checked on if she was asleep?
Because I didn't want her to come bother me. And if she's sleeping, then she can't hear what I'm doing, which will leave me alone.
So when you say that you don't want her to bother you, was it you didn't want her to like just come bother you as a person, or you didn't want her to catch you because of the thought that you might self-harm?
I didn't want her to catch me.
Okay. Okay. So that probably took 5 minutes?
No.
No, how long did that take?
I mean, it took a while because she was awake.
Okay, so your grandma was awake.
So I went in to check on her, and she knows I check on her to make sure she's asleep so that I can go drink more and whatever. And so then she gave me this huge lecture and was like, you need to stop, you need to get over yourself, all this stuff. So I had to deal with her talking like that.
Okay, so then you were lectured. So when you were lectured, I don't like being lectured. So what were thoughts or feelings that was going through your head when she was lectured?
And then I really wanted to get out of there, and then she was making it worse.
Okay.
So, like, nobody invited me out, and then she's yelling at me. Like, why is she kicking me when I'm down? I feel like everyone is kicking me when I'm down. Like, I can't get any lower, and then people are just like, oh, here, let me stomp your head into the dirt more. And, like, I told her about Facebook, and she yelled at me and told me to, like, grow up, and, like, why was I being such a drunk bitch, and I don't know why I was there.
And this is all stuff that we've talked about in the past. And so, everything that we've talked about before, that you've mentioned, all this has come and has led to you burning yourself. So, to sum that up, you felt kick went down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like attacked.
All right. So how long did that last?
Like 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes. Okay.
15 maybe. I I didn't let her yell at me for too long.
Okay. All right. So then you went to your room, and so say for about 15 minutes. So when you got to your room, was the first thought in your head is, what was your first thought actually?
I was pretty excited, and I was drunk, so I can't really, like, I don't really remember. I know that I like turned music on, which is usually like one of my triggers to do it.
So music is a trigger, okay. And
Well,
I
'cause I
remember
always-
us talking about that.
Because I always listen to the same music before I do it.
I'm going to write this as a trigger so that we remember that. Okay. And so, and all that. So then you're in your room, you're listening to music. Right after your grandma yelled at you, you're feeling alone, you're feeling like your grandma's yelling at you, just putting you down even more. So then, when you had your lighter, so walk me through that. So you were listening to music. Were you on your bed at that time?
For the music?
Or were you on your phone?
I wasn't really sitting still.
Okay, so pacing.
I mean, I don't remember that, but I know that I'm drunk. I don't really sit still.
Okay. All right.
And I was pretty drunk. I'm sure. I had been drinking since 2. And I switched. I was drinking like beer and then it went to wine.
So you were sitting there. You weren't sitting there. You were listening to music.
So I was pacing.
So
I don't know.
okay. So, what point did you consciously light the candle and grab the needle?
I checked Facebook again. People have replied to my comments. And this guy I liked, but I don't really like know him. I just kind of like a crush on him. He's friends with my cousin. I
Okay.
just said something on Facebook. And that was like the final straw.
Okay. You're doing great. You know,
Doesn't feel like it.
well, this, you know, what you did is not great. And everything you are remembering is great. Okay. So, at that, so someone commented on your comment, and then was it just a boom, 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 like everything right after that was the lighter, the needle, and burning yourself?
Basically.
Okay. All right. So then, before Facebook, before you got on Facebook, what time do you usually eat dinner?
6 or 7.
6 or 7. So at about, let's say, 7:30 is about what time you got on Facebook?
Probably.
All right, 7:30. All right. Just this helps me better understand. Okay. So before you got on Facebook, were you feeling left out or anything? Because it sounds like a lot came from Facebook, from seeing people in the party. So before that, were you thinking at all about self-harming yourself?
I don't know. I don't think so. I was just being drunk.
And you were drunk, and so that started at 2.
Yeah.
All right. So that's great.
I'm not really sure what I was thinking. I was drunk the whole time, so.
Okay. So we have all that. All right. So consequences. All right. So, what are some consequences of burning yourself?
I have a scar.
Okay, so you have a scar. Okay.
I mean, the curtain caught on fire.
Curtain caught on fire.
And now they're gonna take my grandma away. Or they're gonna put me in jail. I don't know which one.
So you might go to jail. Is that what you said?
Well, the police and the fire said that I was putting my grandma in danger and that they needed to do an investigation.
Okay.
So if they think I'm hurting my grandma, they're probably gonna put me in jail. And what happens if I go to jail? Does that mean I get kicked out of therapy?
I don't know. It probably depends on how long. Because we do have, you can only miss 4 seconds in a row.
But it's not my fault. Like, I don't want to be in jail, but I mean, I don't get like a pass for that,
Pass for what?
for being in jail. Like, I don't get to like skip therapy for that.
So,
Well, that's not fair. Why not?
well, remember when you were in the hospital a few weeks ago and you had to miss a therapy appointment?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as if you were in the hospital. It counts as an absence, so it counts as a missed thing. So, and remember when we went, when you first started coming, we went through the commitment packet, and we were saying that you could only miss 4, and that's for any reason.
Because it's not fair.
Doesn't sound fair. But it has to be like that for everybody, so that one person says, well, I was sick that day and I couldn't make it, and then somebody down the road comes up with more excuses, and it's fair across the board, and that's part of it. But and I know, I can see that it's hurting you, and you're worried about therapy. So as this goes on, when you find more from the cops and everything else, we'll continue to talk about it. And I know it's going to bother you, but just know that right now you're in therapy. You can still come. You still have individual therapy. You still have skills group you can go to. You can call me.
Can I call you from jail?
You can probably still call me from jail, and I'll still talk to you. And so I'm still here. Okay. So, and speaking of calling, during this, hour and a half, did you try to call me? No?
I lost my phone.
Okay, so you lost your phone.
I think I left it like outside earlier or something.
Did you ever find it?
I found it like the next day. I think my grandma found it on the kitchen table.
Okay.
I don't know. I think after I got drunk around like 2, I think I was just kind of doing stuff around the house and left it like outside or somewhere. I think I lost it. No one was calling me anyway, so it didn't really matter if I had it on.
Well, it's kind of that, one of the skills, which is to call. But that's okay. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm just trying to figure out what happened this day. Okay? And see what skills. So, we have consequences. You're really worried about this one. So in this process, starting all the way back from 2 o'clock, all the way to burning yourself, what are some things that you think could have gone better, or that you would like to change?
I wish someone had invited me out.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't have sat at home, and I wouldn't have gotten in that fight with my grandma.
What else?
I wish I had it on and checked with my grandma. She was headed back to my room.
Do you think that checking in with your grandma was a step for you to self-harm? Like, do you think that was like a...
I just think she made me feel worse.
Okay. So, all right. And then, all right, so what else?
I mean, I guess I could have just never drank, but, that's a problem for me.
Yep.
I'm not gonna not drink.
And we're not saying, I know that drinking, you're not going to stop, especially right now. And I don't think that was drinking that really did it. It was the wine. And you say that a lot of times you can drink beer and you're fine, but it's when you switch to wine where you start to self-harm.
Wine just gets me more drunk. Like, it's a different kind of drunk than beer.
And you started drinking wine at about dinner.
Yeah, I had a glass of wine at dinner. And then I think I finished the bottle of tequila. I went to go refill it. I think I put the rest of the bottle in my glass.
Okay. So, all right.
So are you saying you think that I never should have switched to wine?
No. I think that wine is it's not really, it's a trigger, but not really a trigger. Kind of puts your mind into the mindset of self-harm. And so, in my opinion, maybe. So I want to stop for a minute because I see your leg is shaking, and you look really nervous. And I just want to kind of check in right now. So what are you doing right now? Like, what are you thinking?
I don't know, I feel like I cry. I just don't want to go to jail, and I didn't mean to get my grandma in trouble. It's like all my fault. No one cares. If I went to jail, no one would care.
Well, I would care. Because if you were in jail for a long time, then this session would stop. And I think that you've made a huge progress, from about, I think it was 6 months ago when you first came. You've made a huge step. And, I think your grandma would care. She lectures you because she cares.
But she doesn't even believe in this stuff. And she thinks I should just get over it. And I think I should just get over it. I don't know.
Well, and you've made steps. Before, at 2 o'clock to 7:30, from 7:30 to 9:30, that's an hour and a half. Earlier, when you first came, it was 7:30 and 7:40, and you'd be burning. And so that's a huge thing. That's a huge step. And so I think you're doing great. You are. You're doing awesome. Do we need to do a mindfulness exercise to get you focused? So we started coming up with areas where you can not self-harm. And I think that around Facebook, where you have someone invited me out, I think goes a little more. I think that on Facebook, getting on Facebook, probably was the part. So if you're on Facebook and you're feeling these thoughts of someone invited me out, did you call anybody at that time?
No, like pathetic. Like, and what if they say no, or what if they don't pick up, or what if? I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, when people are like, "Oh, well, I'm not really sure what I'm doing," when really they're just saying that you're not invited. I don't. No one answers for me anymore either.
So that doesn't sound like that would be good. So how about switching to wine? How do you feel about that? About not switching to wine?
I mean, that's fine, but I can't guarantee that I'll always have beer.
Okay. What can you drink instead of beer?
I mean, liquor, but that's worse than wine.
What about other drinks?
I mean, like non-alcohol. Milk, Kool-Aid.
Okay. Your face, when I mentioned non-alcohol, just shred it in.
Well, I mean, the purpose was to get drunk, so why would I drink like something that doesn't have alcohol in it?
And I think, like you mentioned that we talked about it before, that drinking, getting drunk, will lead to self-harm. And so beer has never really affected you. But it's the heavier drinks, the wine and the liquor, that will cause it. So I'm just trying to help come up with different solutions instead of...
I guess you can get like wine coolers or like...
Okay.
I don't know, one of those other like stupid bitchy drinks. Like pina coladas.
Okay.
Or like... What do they call like strawberritas, where they're like weird hybrid beer wine.
Okay. So I'm going to write solutions on my paper here because it's easier. So some solutions would be, so the big one would be not drink, say, wine or heavy liquor. Not sure if that's the right term. Okay, so, and then some solutions would be like wine coolers.
Or like margarita maybe, or I don't know.
What about like Kool-Aid, or because you did mention that? Is there a favorite Kool-Aid that you like, or maybe lemonade, or?
Yeah, I like the black cherry Kool-Aid.
So maybe drink black cherry Kool-Aid.
I guess. Not sure how drunk me's gonna agree to that, but I can remember.
And from what it sounds, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a huge success, especially when you're drunk. I just don't want it. And so, before I write that down, I want to know how committed you are that you would drink, because I think that you could drink the wine coolers and the margaritas, but I don't know about the Kool-Aid.
I don't think I might really drink Kool-Aid.
Okay. But at least drinking wine coolers and margaritas would...
Yes.
All right.
I could drink something else instead of wine or liquor, but I'm not sure. I don't think I would stop drinking and just drink Kool-Aid unless I put something in the Kool-Aid.
Okay. All right. So not switching. Okay, could be one. Not checking on your grandma. You had mentioned not checking on your grandma. So, in that circumstance, so you mentioned a few things. One, it's a trigger. So checking on your grandma, your thought was, if I check on my grandma, she won't interrupt me when I do stuff. So, I want to keep that in there. But instead of not checking on your grandma, could it be, instead of not checking on your grandma, maybe hang out with your grandma, or because because do you think if you didn't check on your grandma, you would still burn, you would still self-harm?
Yeah, but I think I'd like, I'd be even more anxious about it. Like, I'm gonna check on my grandma, but if she's asleep, I know there's less likely of a chance for her to catch me.
Okay. All right.
But if I hang out with her, I guess I might waste time.
All right. So instead of not check on your grandma, maybe go build a better relationship with your grandma, so that it's not just a fighting relationship.
I don't think I can do that while I'm drunk and I'm on my way to go hurt myself.
But what about when you're not drunk?
When I'm not drunk, we get along fine.
Okay. So it's just when you're drunk. Okay. All right. So not checking on your grandma. All right. Well, we might have time to go back to that. All right. So the other one that I think is a huge thing is listening to the music. We've talked about this. You've mentioned that it was a trigger. You mentioned it today. That was a trigger. Have you gotten rid of the music? Okay.
I mean, you don't really get rid of it, it's just on the internet.
Well, you said that you listen to it through like iTunes or whatever. Like you have it.
YouTube.
Yeah, you have it. And you've mentioned of getting rid of it. And so,
I guess I can block those songs.
okay.
I mean, can you do that on YouTube?
Yeah, you can block content. So you can put a filter on YouTube. So one thing you do, if you want, you can have your grandma or somebody go on YouTube, put a password or something so that you can't access that type of music, and do it that way.
Okay.
Okay, so block the music or content.
Well, just like one band.
Okay. Or, yeah. Okay. So block music, and delete what you have from, or on iTunes.
From that band. But I paid for it.
I know. But it's a thing that, it's a huge trigger that leads to you burning yourself. I think it's a huge thing that, and I'm trying to, it's just skills to help you, to protect you.
Okay.
And then the other thing, the last thing, is I really need a commitment from you about not self-harming yourself
At all?
at all. It could be, we could start right now with a week. We could say, I will not self-harm for 1 week. Because it goes all the way back to the very beginning. Back to when we started. And you said that you would not self-harm.
I guess I would try not to.
But I need a commitment from you.
Well, what happens if I can't live up to that?
Then we can talk about it. But I need a commitment from you that you will not self-harm.
I mean, I can say that, and I can try, but it doesn't mean I'm not, like, I won't do it. Like, I have been trying. Like, you're making it sound like I didn't try last week. Like, I tried, but it happened.
And I'm not trying to shame you. It's for the circumstance that you're in, for all that you went through, okay, and all the history. This is what you've gone to, and it needs to change. And making a commitment would help prevent this.
I'll try. I'll try.
Okay. So next week, so you're committing to not self-harming for 1 week.
I'm gonna really try.
Okay. All right.
Or I'll do something not as bad.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Like instead of burning.
I don't want you to self-harm. So doing something could be, you can call me anytime. You have skills. You've been going to skills group for 4.5 months now. There's lots of skills in there that you can use. You can we came up with a few skills today that I think will help. So, but I don't want you to think so. When you say no, will not self-harm for 1 week. Self-harm means no burning, no cutting. So does that sound like a good thing for the next week?
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna stop drinking the heavy liquor and wine.
See, I'm not stopping drinking.
Nope. Drinking wine and heavy liquor. You're gonna block the music content and ban and delete the music that you have, and then you committed to me that you're not gonna self-harm for 1 week. Okay. So.
Can you remind me about the music?
So what I'll do before you leave is I'll give you a sheet that will remind you.
Is that my homework?
Yep. It's your homework for the week.
Okay.
All right. And it's not hard. So we have just a few minutes left, and you wanted a few minutes to talk about your grandma and the cops and everything else. And so, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know what's gonna happen. Are they gonna take my grandma away, or am I gonna get kicked out? Like, how does that stuff work?
What do you mean?
Okay, so like after my grandma put out the fire, like we had a fire extinguisher because she knows I'm always fucking with the candles, and so she put it out. I mean, it was like half of the curtain, like it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like what do you call it? The alarm thing went off in my room, but it didn't go off anywhere else, and I guess because we live in a duplex, like a what do you call it? Whatever it is, like the other side smelled it or heard it or something, or they saw it through the window maybe, and so they're the ones that called the cops, and the fire truck came and they like looked at it, and they were in my room, which was not fucking cool, and then they talked to my grandma and they talked to me, and I think I said too much because I was drunk, and then they were like, well, we're gonna have to call like Division of Family Services or something like that, and they were going to report me for putting a senior in danger, and they said they were going to start an investigation. Like, what does that mean? Like, am I gonna lose my grandma? Is it my fault?
So I don't know what's going to happen, but what they're going to do is they're going to probably investigate what caused the fire, what the circumstances that led up to it, if your grandma was in danger. And then I know they ordered, according to this, they ordered a psych eval on you to see if your intent was to hurt your grandma. And so
That's the whole other thing. Like, what if they're like, okay, you need to go live in this hospital for like 6 years? Because you're crazy. There's just so many bad things like that, man.
And I can tell by the by your face, by the way you're acting. I know it is terrifying. And what I don't want to happen is this situation cause you to self-harm. And so I want to know what you can do to help in this situation. Because I know right now your head's just going 100 miles an hour trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's going to happen.
Can you go with me to like the police station?
I'm not sure if I can. I'll have to talk to my supervision about that. Or, you know, they might call me. Part of the psych eval is they might call me to get some information about it.
Are you gonna tell me what they ask you?
I'm not sure. I probably will. I'll probably tell you. And so, and if any point in time, if you know if the cops are questioning you and you get done, you know, if you are, you know, really nervous, you feel like something, call me. Use a
Can we
skill.
schedule a coaching call?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that sounds like a great idea. Awesome. Yeah. So,
The meeting with them is at like 5 o'clock on Tuesday.
5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay. So that probably will last an hour.
I
So-
want to call you before.
Okay, so you want to call me before? Okay, so at 4:30.
Okay.
4:30 sound good?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm gonna write that down for myself. Okay, so Vienna at 4:30. Which day was that? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday for coaching. Okay. And so I'll call you that day. And then afterwards too, if you feel like you need to call, you can call me. So before
Well, I guess I can't call you if I have to go to jail.
I think if you ask them, they might be able to make a certain and say, hey, can I call my therapist real quick for 5 minutes? They may or may not.
I'm gonna die in jail because I won't have alcohol.
So you're worried that you're gonna die from alcohol. How?
I know I drink it every day, and when I don't drink, I get type.
So you get sick. Well, in that circumstance, but again, I don't want you to go down the darker road. Okay, I know you're just kind of preparing yourself for what might happen. There are medical doctors who are at the hospital, okay, who can help you. Okay. But we are out of time. We usually went a little over. That's okay. So before we leave, I want to check back in with you. So right now, on this, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being the worst.
4.
4. What about self-harming yourself?
It's pretty low. Just because I told you I wasn't doing anything. So, like wanting to is still like a 2.
Okay. What about suicidal behaviors?
So it's still like a
2. And what about quitting therapy?
0 or 1.
Thank you so much for coming in, and you did a great job with all this, and I think you're going to do great using the skills this week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And I will call you Tuesday at 4:30 for a coaching program.